Hello, everybody, and welcome into the Pigskin Project YouTube channel. I am Matt Hartman, and today Ben and I talk about Week 4 college football preview, everything you want to know before Saturday, before tomorrow, talking Auburn, Oklahoma, talking Illinois, Indiana, and talking all kinds of games, and then we throw out at the end all of our little notable games of the weekend that you would want to watch. Stay tuned for the
Take it
video.
away.
Yeah, let's start with those. This is the game of the week. All right. Uh,
Yeah.
Illinois is traveling to Bloomington to face Indiana. Indiana is 5.5 point favorites. This will be on NBC. Obviously, ESPN could not go to game day for that because Florida's going to Miami. You remember like that one and two Florida. But ESPN
Mm-hmm.
sold their souls to the SEC. I understand. I get it. But I digress. This is such a fun one. I think these coaches are uh this is like oil and water, I think, where it's like where Bielema, known troll, known fun guy, and then Signetti, who's just like grumpy
Tough
anti
character.
and just mean all the time. This is good versus evil. If
Yeah.
I had to if I had to say anything about it, but you look at Indiana. I mean, Indiana
First your
specifically.
trust.
What these are two programs in this conference that are bringing back tons and tons of talent. Like I think Illinois is second to only Clemson bringing back returning starters, and Indiana is only bringing back I think like 9 or 10. But you look at the names of that, and it's D'Angelo Pons, it's Aiden Fisher, it's Michael Cabrera, it's Elijah Surratt. It's guys who are actually going to be higher level draft picks compared to the starters they lost last year. So it's this is shaping up to be like I think everybody and their mother had it before the season where it was like this is a playoff, play-in game kind of thing like that. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I heard that so many times, and now that we're here, it might genuinely be because I think whoever wins this game is going to be ranked in the top 10. Illinois is already there, and Indiana 19. If they beat Illinois, they're going to jump up that high. Uh, and Signetti, like, as much as I joke about, like, the guy wins in this spot. So I'm gonna take Indiana to win this one, even if I would much rather have Luke Altmaier. I'm interested to see the game plan for Mendoza because Mendoza he did it with Cal. Like he struggles with those like multi pressure looks. I wonder if Bielema is saying like let's send six at him to kind of see what we're looking at,
Mm-hmm.
and just overall the Signetti system of that's what Ohio State did last year, and so it'll be interesting. But your thoughts?
I mean, this is Indiana's first like big test. They have played absolutely no one. In
By design.
what?
By design.
By design, they have played absolutely no one in true Kurt Signetti Indiana fashion. I mean, they played Old Dominion, but hey, Old Dominion and proven they can beat a Power Four school, and then they played Kansas State and Indiana State. So they just have not played like anyone that is even remotely close to being an actual good team. So to jump from where you've played to now having to play Illinois, a top 10 ranked team in the country, is going to be a hard test. I'm really interested, as you said, to see what Mendoza looks like when passing the football because they've proven it last year. They've proven it through the first 3 games this year. It was up to Kurt. He would just run the football 100 times a game and turn around and hand it off to Lee Beebe and be like, all right, this is what we're doing. But you're going to be forced to actually have to pass the football and hang in this game. Um, and might I add, Kurt Signetti has never lost in Memorial Stadium,
Nope.
and I don't think he will. I don't think I'll lose again in this game. I think that streak continues. I'm going to take Indiana. I mean, what kind of Hoosier graduate would I be if I didn't? Um, so we're riding with the Hoosiers. But again, as you said, there's major playoff implications in week 4 of college football. Very exciting stuff. So
Yes. Let's move on to the Southeastern Conference. Uh, Ranked Auburn travels to Oklahoma, of course. The Jackson
Jackson
Arnold
Arnold.
revenge game. Everybody's talking about. Everybody's buzzing about it. Um, what do you got on this one?
I mean you touched on the major point there. I mean,
Yeah,
can Jackson Arnold continue to do what he's been doing for the first 3 weeks of the season and come in and give Oklahoma the big middle finger and say like F you? Given I don't care how well Jackson Arnold plays, they obviously made the clear and correct decision by going with Mateer. And on the flip side of that, I mean, if Mateer just continues doing what he's done, I don't think Oklahoma loses this game. But this, I think, will be the toughest offense that they have played all season long, and a good defense in their own right. Um, I'm gonna go with the Heisman favorite. I'm gonna go Oklahoma and John Mateer. Um, but again, just the storyline alone that's coming in with this game is gonna make it well worth a watch.
I'm interested to see how Venables defends him. Is Venables going to be uber aggressive to really make him throw? Like, I feel like they have to pack the paint in a sense. Like they gotta pack the box so they can't run the football the way they have. But at the same time, I don't think you can leave 1-on-1 with Singleton and Cam Coleman. And I know Singleton is questionable, but I have to assume he's gonna play. Uh,
Yeah,
so again, I'm
please
gonna
leave
take.
Cam Coleman 1-on-1. I'm begging you, Venables, do it and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how it's. I mean, this is a. I gotta see how locked in Jackson Arnold is for like a quarter. I think
Mhm.
these big time spots last year, he just was zoned out. He was just not available for them, and that's why they went to Hawkins so quickly. But over the course of the last 6 games he's played outside of LSU last season for Oklahoma, he's won them. Like he's been in these spots. So uh, I'm gonna take Auburn obviously because I'm a hater, but I think this one is going to be close. I think it's going to be played within the spread. Just because I believe in Auburn's skill talent and I believed in it before the season. So why would I stop now after what they were able to do to a Baylor front? But it'll be interesting to find out. And this is also a really good thing for Arnold that the sun is going to be out while this game is played. I think if this was at night, that really
Yes.
it would have an impact. I think Norman at night is a beast you got to fight. Let's go if we're continuing to travel around the conferences. Let's go to quite possibly the Big 12 game of the year. Texas Tech travels to Salt Lake City to face the Utah Utes. This one is at noon. Learned
Ugh.
that today. Big Noon is going to be there. Good for them for going to the Big 12. But Texas Tech has played. I
Wagon.
looked this up. The easiest schedule in the country.
Yes.
Utah has played one of the top 10 easiest schedules in the country. We don't know anything about these two teams. I'm going to take Utah and I'm not going to try and decipher too much about it. Like I just want to watch them play football. I don't think I can really, hyper analyze what either team has done through three
No.
weeks to really figure that out. I just think that Utah, it's the same reason why I took them to win the Big 12 and I assume the same for you is I just think they have the line of scrimmage talent to always be in these games, to always overwhelm these these kind of teams like Texas Tech where just Tech is just not going to match you up front in the run game and if they try, you're just going to bully them. They have two offensive tackles who are going to be drafted in the top 50 picks next year. Caleb Lomel and Spencer Fano. So yeah, I'm taking Utah pretty easily. I think within the 3.5 is tough. I mean, obviously you're playing within a field goal game, but this is a big one for each of these two teams to really get a stranglehold on the Big 12 after Arizona State's loss.
No, absolutely. And again, as you said, I think it comes down to that trench play, and it is the reason that I will be picking Utah as well. But this Texas Tech offense, again, the easiest schedule through the first 3 weeks of the season, but Morton has looked fantastic for them.
Mm-hmm.
And this offense no one's been able to slow them down again, given they haven't really played anyone that could slow anyone down. My grandma could play quarterback and they'd still win that game. But the offense has been a wagon. They've been able to find their run game. Morton's been able to pass the football at a very efficient level. And I don't know if the game, I'm going to push back. I think the game might be a little bit closer to what the spread actually says there. But again, I think Utah just has the talent along that offensive line to get the job done here.
All right, all right. Let's go to the final. We're not gonna have 5 this week. We're only gonna have 4. Let's go to the final one. Let's talk about your Michigan Wolverines. So Sharon Moore obviously is not going to be present for this game. He was suspended. What was it? The minute the Central Michigan started, and then to the end of this one is the way I'm
Mm-hmm.
like under. So that's interesting. He was able to practice and kind of game plan Central Michigan, tee up some shots for Bryce Underwood. He has no involvement in this game, so I'm fascinated by that. Uh, I don't know how to feel about Michigan. I said like I think I feel pretty good to say like I don't think they're as good as Illinois or Indiana, and that's not just because
Mm-hmm.
of the number next to their name. It's because watching them play football, uh, and I don't know much about Nebraska. Like I think Nebraska and this is worthy of a pick'em game. Um, this is probably the game. I'm more excited to watch this one than the Auburn Oklahoma, if that makes sense. Just
Yeah.
because I have more questions with Nebraska specifically. I think probably because I have stock in them to make the playoff, and I just want to see Rayola in some of these big time spots. But yeah, what are your thoughts on this one?
No, I the big thing is the Sharon Moore not being able to coach, not be able to be at practice.
Yeah.
Um, but to me, it doesn't bug me. I don't know if anyone knows anything about Biff, about Biff. All right, the interim head coach.
Yeah.
Man, do people love this guy? People want to play for him, and people want to fight for him. He is so much fun. Again, if you guys don't know much about him, before being at Michigan, and he's had stints on and off at Michigan. I think last place was Charlotte in his
Yeah.
wonderful, wonderful cutoff. Uh, um, but people really, really do want to play for him. But it's a coaching style within the game and how calls are being played and the freedom that he gives his coordinators that I'm really the most interested about. Given it was Central Michigan compared to Oklahoma, which is a very stark difference between the level of play. But they really let Bryce Underwood rip the ball down the field, and they listened to people. We hated it. Michigan fans came on here and were complaining and were upset, as they should, me being one of them, that the offense was stale. Everything was, parallel to the line of scrimmage. And, Biff and Chip Lindsey were like, okay, well, watch this. Let Bryce Underwood show why he was paid as much as he was. Let him rip the ball down the field. Um, but more importantly than all of that, they were actually mixing in the QB run game last week. Um, but just as we talked about the Oklahoma game, going into Norman and trying to play that game, it's going to be just as hard in Lincoln. I mean, Lincoln is just one of those underrated places that I just, people hear Nebraska and they just put it on the back burner and they're like, oh, it's Nebraska. Lincoln is one of the tougher places in all of college football to go into and play, regardless of if this team is ranked or not ranked. I mean, Nebraska football is the only thing that state has. They have nothing else. So those fans get behind the Cornhuskers and really root for them and make it a very hostile and difficult place to play. And can Bryce stay poised? And, again, I think he looked poised in Norman despite all of his flaws that the offense had. Can he stay poised while in Lincoln? And then on the flip side of this, Dylan Raiola has looked very, very good to start the season. Now, what is he going to look like against one of the top? I don't want to put a number on it, but one of the better defenses in all of college football against Michigan. And if he can continue to do what he was doing against Michigan, I don't think Michigan wins this game. I really think it comes down to how he looks and how he handles everything that's going to get thrown at him by this Michigan defense. Um, Again, just very, very exciting to see how both these quarterbacks play in the scheme that everyone draws up here.
I'm also excited to see more Bryce Underwood in the spot. Just see him play more. I feel like
Yeah,
that's just a part that I want to mention. Like, I mean, in 4 weeks we get him in two big time road games, and like you still have the games upcoming on the schedule.
yeah,
It's pretty fun. Pretty fun to see this kid in big time spots, and then obviously Rayola and year three Matt Rule trying to take it. I'm taking Nebraska. Just take the home team. Take the team I got priors on, as you do, especially with Notre Dame this year. But let's get into some notable games of the weekend. Ben, do you want to go first?
yeah. The first one for me again. I think both teams are considered unranked. But Washington versus Wazoo, just
Hmm.
because of the two teams and kind of the history and the hatred that both teams harbor for one another. Washington is my version of your Nebraska. Um,
Yep.
Given I think they have a much easier matchup.
Yep.
But it's just a fun little rivalry game that they just decided to stick there in week 4, and I'm looking forward to it.
Do you have
Do you
more?
want me to go to my next one?
Yeah. Go through it. Go
Okay,
through it.
I didn't know if we were going back and forth. Just the other one I wanted to bring up was just another Big 12 matchup. That was ASU versus Baylor. At this point, K State is out of it, um, but everything else is up in the air. Can ASU bounce back from everything that had happened at Mississippi State and said, nope, we're taking back this conference and we will be the team that comes out? And if they can beat Baylor and set, them right on the track, I think they can do that. But there's also a very, very real possibility that they go in there and lose, just like SMU did. So I'm just really interested to see how this ASU team responds to conference play. But those were my two big ones.
Yeah, I had a ton of them. I think this is a pretty solid weekend. I think the noon slate is a little
Yeah.
weaker, but for the most part, I think there are some gems in here. I'm gonna start with Tulane versus Ole Miss. Trinidad Chambliss, that's his name from Ferris State, D2. He was incredible against Arkansas. Stepped in for Austin Simmons at Ole Miss. Now they welcome Tulane, who is, are they now the front runner for the Group of Five spot? I don't think so. I don't know. Like again, they still face South Florida, but again, this is a spot for Tulane to kind of go in there and maybe they make a statement. Maybe Chambliss doesn't play as well as he did against Arkansas. We'll see there. The other notables, SMU and TCU. They're playing at noon. Again, this is just a rivalry. Just I'm gonna go through the little rivalries here. I had both Pac-12 rivalries: Washington State, Oregon State, Oregon. Oregon State kind of hung with Oregon. I remember last year, and then like Dylan Gabriel had a 50-yard like rushing touchdown, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken. That was a weird game last year. It was one of those like when Oregon was like losing to Ohio or Idaho and struggling with Boise, and then they struggled with Oregon State. So everyone was like, "The sky is falling," and then they go 13-0. But that was just something to mention. UNC is on the road at UCF. They are 7-point dogs. UCF is unanimously like one of the worst teams in the conference. Like they're Oak State territory, and UNC is already 7-point dogs to that team. I think that's just haha, makes me hearty chuckle. Uh, South Carolina, Mizzou. South Carolina might be without Sellers, might be with Sellers. He is questionable as of right now. And Mizzou might just be awesome. I think they are awesome. So we're going to see how awesome they are. And hopefully they don't trip up against South Carolina because they got some mighty games on the schedule. It'd be fun to see a 0 in their loss column before those. And then you get into game day. Game day goes to Florida and Miami. I think the biggest thing is does Florida have any fight left? Do they have any fight for this coach? I don't know. They did last year. I'm a little bit more hesitant this year, just because I think you're just slowly you're going down the ship quicker. But just like last year, his job was gone at the A&M game, and they find a way. And if you beat Miami, who I said on this podcast, I think is like just now cracking that national championship circle, uh, that does a lot for your job security, I think. And then you mentioned Arizona State, Baylor. I don't have to mention it again, but just big week for the Big 12. That those four teams are all facing each other. Those might be the four best teams in the conference, plus TCU probably. If I
Mhm.
had to, yeah. And so, just a big week for some of those teams. And then lastly, BYU and ECU. Uh, those teams could score, man. Like ECU is a fun team this year. Don't like saying it. They can score with the best of them. And BYU making that trip all the way out to Greenville is pretty impressive. Like we'll see. We'll see how that one goes for the what is it? Is it Bear Bachmeier
Bear
and
Bachmeier. Yeah.
the Cougs. So that is all for college football week 4, Ben. Hopefully you enjoyed that video. We really appreciate you clicking on this video. Make sure to like and subscribe. That always helps us out. And remember, check out our links in the description. And Wednesdays, 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central Time, live over here, talking ball, interacting with the chat, having some fun. So you wouldn't want to miss that. But that's all for me. And until next time, roll that outro.